I'm telling you, he had to do the combat 225. I'm not saying it's a regular. I'm not doing no reps. God is past 10 though, bro. Exactly. Past 10. What's your back? On a flat bench? Yeah. No, I don't max out on flat bench no more. I do 15 times before sets. Okay, if you had to guesstimate, all right, 365. 365? What's your max, hey? Right now, 365. But dumbbell though, I take 170, 5 up. 5 yeah. 5 is one. Special guest in the building today, man. Put your hands together, man. Everybody make a whole lot of noise. My boy Dave Mays, go! Woo! Yep. All right, Dave, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. We're not doing no cool shit today, man. Okay? We're not doing no cool shit.
I'm cool as hell.
we gonna talk this shit, right? We gonna make some shit happen, man. Okay. If you don't know who Dave Mays is, I'm just gonna simply tell you Google him, right? Just make it real fucking easy. His resume is crazy. Let's just start here. Founder of the Source magazine.
Yes.
Hip Hop Weekly.
Yes.
Source Awards.
Hell yeah.
Discovered some of your favorite artists. Biggie.
My
Nas. I mean, shit, the list go. Common. Let's go Chicago. Yeah. I mean, damn, Dave, let me do my thing.
You ain't talking fast.
Yeah, clearly. Entrepreneur. Okay, businessman, and I'm gonna go ahead and give him the stamp of Chicagoan at this point. Okay, so welcome. Come on, my guys. Come on, my guys.
Yep.
All right, yeah. Order a drink, man. Order a drink. Do something. Okay.
Shake something. Do something.
Yeah, man.
Think different.
Huh?
No, go ahead. I'm gonna start.
All right.
Start with that one.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for coming, brother.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. So, we do not interview, man. We have a conversation. Wherever the conversation goes, it just happens that way. All right. Everybody knows everything about you, man. So we gonna do something different today.
You didn't talk about the new situation, the Breakbeat.
Oh, Breakbeat. Pardon the body. Okay, pardon the body.
That's what's really going on.
That's
right
definitely
now.
what's really going on. Breakbeat Media. Well, fuck it then. If we gonna talk, let's talk, right? Yo.
Hey.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this. You know what I mean? I'm gonna speak it into existence, man. There's a partnership that needs to happen. Okay? Corner Convo and Breakbeat. What are we doing? What are we waiting on?
Well, we're gonna talk about it. I came through here, come check out y'all whole situation, and we're gonna talk about it. I definitely want to do some things here in the city. I appreciate you, giving me that stamp of Chicagoan, because I definitely have fallen in love with the city and have a lot of great friends and family now out here in the city, and definitely want to do some things here with Breakbeat.
No doubt.
Let's go.
So before we continue, can somebody say what Breakbeat is? Because we just keep saying the name. You gonna do that, host?
Well, go ahead then.
What?
You here now?
You know what?
Yeah.
Bougie. So Breakbeat is a podcast network, right?
That's right.
Can you share a little bit about the purpose of this new endeavor coming from the Source and now in the digital space?
Sure. Well, Breakbeat is just based on the vision and idea and observations I've had over the last number of years of just feeling like we don't have a platform for hip hop that speaks comprehensively across the generations to the community and focuses on, our perspective on things. In a lot of ways, that's what the Source did back in its heyday. So with Breakbeat, the whole plan, the first phase of it is the podcast network. So that's just about, putting on new voices, new talent, again, new perspectives. Excuse me. Podcasting is like, that new form of media that's continuing to emerge and will be around a long time as a lot of the other forms of media continue to fade away. So right now with Breakbeat, I've got about 7 different shows, 5 of them that come out regularly now. Don't Call Me White Girl.
Shout out.
I love Mona. What up, Mona?
Yeah. A star in the making.
My God, yes.
I got the Cornbread TV starring Funny Marco.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah.
So offensive. So offensive.
Yeah, he killed it. And now we got Top Billing with Bill Bellamy.
Shout out.
Yeah, that's doing great. I have a show called Trapping Anonymous with my man Chris Styles out in Brooklyn, but very, very interesting podcast if you guys haven't checked that out.
Yeah, I'll check them out.
Those shows are wild.
And then the latest one, I brought on Bubba Dub to do a sports show. Trash talk. Yeah. So we're in the midst of getting that off the ground right now. And then I'm also doing, there's a whole other side to podcasting that really the hip hop world hasn't really been represented in and been a part of too much, which is kind of what they call the audio narrative format. So it's basically like audio documentaries. And it's a style, that exploded in the podcast world over the past 5-6 years. But again, very little done for hip hop. So, that was, some ways you could describe it a more journalistic kind of type of podcast. So we've got a couple different stories that we're telling so far. The first one is finished and it's going to come out later this year. And it's called It Was All a Dream, The Untold Story of Unsigned Hype. It's an 8-episode limited series. So, each episode will be between 45 minutes an hour and tells the whole story. How do we create the column? How do we discover Biggie, DMX, Common, Mobb Deep, Eminem, and, how these guys got their record deals coming out of the Unsigned Hype column. And there's a lot of exclusive information about some of these artists that has never been told before about this kind of early part of their careers. So I'm really excited about that. And then, of course, the other one I've been working on, which is, obviously central to this city, is the Larry Hoover life story. I'm the first. Breakbeat is the first to have the authorized rights to tell Larry's story.
A corner.
It's a an amazing story, a very, very important story, one that's never ever been told in any kind of accurate, sort of meaningful way. And it's a story that still has a lot of relevance today. So I'm really, really, proud to be able to get that story told. So that'll come out hopefully by the end of this year.
Dream Deliveries stabilizes quality and access by offering fresh produce straight to the doorstep of the Chicagoland residents that it serves. Being environmentally conscious, Dream Deliveries is consistent in reducing waste by sending packaged, pre-measured fruits and vegetables to households in need and struggling with food security.
www.Dion'sChicagoDream.com or search at Dion's Chicago Dream on all social media platforms. Again, that's www.Dion'sChicagoDream.com or search at Dion's Chicago Dream, again with an S, on all social media platforms. Feed families, create community, and fuel hope. About the Vice Lord story.
Um,
Yeah. What about the Vice Lord story? Like, you know what I'm saying? If you do one, you got to do the other.
Yeah, I talked to Jeff's daughter, and at some point I'm going to regroup, and Chicago has a lot of incredible history and stories and figures here that people don't know anything about. So I've been learning about all that. It's been about 6 years since I first moved out to Chicago, So yeah, there's a lot of stories to tell, and that's why I wanted to be in that format as well, because there's so many stories from our culture that haven't been told or have been told by people that really don't know and have been told inaccurately.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right. They just piece together information. That's all they do.
Yeah.
So you've been here for 6 years. So in your opinion, Uncle Remus or Harold's?
Well, I'm vegan, so I can't.
Cauliflower. I ain't mad at that. They cook it right up sometimes, though. People move heaven and hell, or kill themselves, kill brain cells to think of names for their platforms and shows and things like that, though. What made you settle on Breakbeat?
The name?
Yeah.
Well, when we came up with the idea, we kind of tested it a little bit. So one of the things I didn't say about the company and the network, I did say kind of crossing the generations, but what's really important about that is, they've divided us across the older and younger sides of the hip hop generation. So now you have, Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z. All of us have been growing up on hip hop. from a young age. It's had an incredible influence on our lives and how we think and how we feel. But the music industry has created this narrative over the years to kind of pit the old and the young against each other.
Right.
You know, this ain't real hip hop, the mumble rap, and the back and the forth. And
That was planned, you think? It was planned? I think some people are just stubborn. They
Yeah,
just do it anyway.
no, it's a narrative. I believe that the music industry has pushed, and people fall into these things and run with them. But what I see is whether you could have somebody who's 51 years old and someone who's 21 years old today. They've both grown up on hip hop, white, black, Chinese, whatever they might be. Now, they might not like the same music today, but their mindset, the way they think, if you ask them, how do you feel about what's going on in the world over here or this, that, or the other, the way, we culturally take things in and our views, I think they have way more in common. So that's the underlying idea, is over time to bring us together, because we have much more in common, and we can be a lot more powerful and influential as a community if we can get organized and kind of cut the divisiveness and bring it together. So back to your question with Breakbeat. So young people that we talk to, they don't know what Breakbeat is, most young people, but they thought the name sounded cool. So I was like, okay, that's all I need with that. So the whole concept of Breakbeat, obviously Breakbeat is the original building block of all things hip hop. So from 1973 to today, there's a common thread that can be traced all the way up to everything in this world out here today, where hip hop is part of, every single thing.
Fashion, name it.
You can trace it all back to the Breakbeat. So that's kind of over time, again, younger people will eventually, I think, discover that and understand, that's what the name really was about. So, yeah.
They're going to be our age when they do discover it, though. Yeah, it's funny how that shit works.
Let's get into this Freaknik documentary.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Fuck it. I was at Freaknik and that shit was a ball. Let me be fucking clear, right? You got chicks out here talking about they suing.
Is
it just women that are suing?
Yeah. Yes, it's just women.
Look
right?
At you. Pipe down.
And they're doing 94. Year 94. I wasn't there. I went 96. It was crazy.
They don't want to be
it's supposed to be released.
It's a politician, a judge, and 3 corporate level women.
And it's crazy to me. First of all, chick. All right, just because you got your life together now, right? Don't be ashamed of what you was doing then. It is what it is, right? If you shake some ass,
people, come on now.
It is what it is, right? Cool. Now you're in corporate. Cool. You still shake that ass in the bedroom. It doesn't matter, right? and like it's a part of your life.
But I think it's a certain type of woman that's comfortable with that, right? So me coming from the club and having shook my ass.
The club. What's the club?
Well, as a stripper.
Okay, yeah. Just be clear.
Yeah, just to be clear. Coming from that lifestyle and now into a more formal employment, like I had to hold my head up and be like, that's what I did to get here. Yeah. Just like a dude on the street, like I did what I did. Now I'm here. It's different from when women never acknowledge that that's who they were. Right. Like they were able to hide that away and go to Atlanta, never see those photos again, forget about it, and come back and can just erase it. So those type of women aren't built like that.
Got it.
And they do have a lot to lose. Like, look at what just happened with, sis in the playoffs, right? Like doing something as a woman gets negative feedback. So now you have a corporate woman or a judge. Oh my God. What you got to say, Abasi?
Nope, I'm looking at him. Hold the conversation.
Whatever.
Go on the conversation. Come on now. I know what the fuck I be talking about.
Yeah, like they're gonna get some smoke. So my question is, are the men in society and in their lives going to stiff arm them, or are they gonna stand up for them? That's the real question. So what would you do?
Even if they don't stiff arm them, it's always about leverage. They're gonna leverage that shit in the future. Society has shown you that time and time again. You know what I'm saying? They will take your past and hold it against you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna bring something up similar to this or related to this at a different topic, but Freaknik, man, I've been saying it for years, and I'm gonna say it again. I say, Joe, y'all leave these little babies alone. These little popping their little thought pockets, the little short thing doing wild shit. They got little thought pockets, man. Fucking
my God.
These little kids do all this wild shit because guess what? There's video evidence of y'all from Black Bike Week, Spring Break, Freaknik, of course. Everything, Virginia, all this other shit. All y'all here, y'all was doing the same shit, just a different date, different time, different fast, bro. Fast come back around. So if you didn't want your shit to be out there, you should be in a public space. Public space. Public space.
Say it again.
Getting recorded like
Pop
that.
that coochie! Pop that
P-U-B-L-I-C.
coochie, baby! Pop,
Right.
pop the
Hey,
coochie!
funny as hell because he is helping produce that shit. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't been out there getting your shit split open. This is your life. I'm not even judging you. Getting your shit split open, getting it
That one
recorded.
clip with old
Because,
girl in front
hey,
of Kanye.
That one police
Yeah, that
officer
shit was
reminds me so
hilarious.
much, you know, at work.
She looks so
He the most
blasé.
famous picture ever. He got shorty bent over, spreading the cheeks out like this. They went and found that poor man. And say, bro, is this you? He was like, what are y'all talking about? No, that's not me. But yes, it is you, goddamn. You know what I'm saying? But you know,
Yes, it is you.
when you do things in the eye for public consumption, whether it's having a good time, regardless of how Freaknik started, when you do things in public, regardless of having a good time or not, though, you run the risk of that shit being time stamped forever. And nothing, NERD, like for real, I'm saying, nothing ever really dies, bro. And here we are.
Bro, the story needs to be told.
That's
The
what
story needs to
NERD
be told.
stands
Nothing ever really dies, yeah.
I learned something new right
I
now.
have another. I ain't got shit before those from them shits, and I still look at them like, damn, I was.
You still
good.
look at those photos?
Yes.
Wait, so
Winning.
this
He had a six-pack back then.
Winning, like
Boy,
winning.
you were ready.
of what, beer?
Nah,
No. I was good. Yeah, I was good. I was good out here.
Oh my
Yeah.
And
God.
fuck y'all. What you think, Dave, man? What you think about this documentary that is so explosive that people are gathering together?
I guess it's
and
a
garnering their powers
thought-mentary.
to motherfucking stop it.
I mean, I'm sure, you know, I want to see it. I mean, you know, that's a huge, you know, that was a huge, you know, just iconic cultural, you know,
Were you there?
era. I was there a couple times.
That's
Yeah.
fucking- that was
Yeah.
really good.
I was in and out.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was a sight to see for sure. So I'm sure it'll be eye opening for a lot of people to
I bet.
see. And yeah, I mean, I guess I understand how some of the women might feel about this old footage coming out, but you know, it was a long time ago. So
Yeah,
you
so
know, people can change.
And the crazy part is they don't even know what they're going to see, right?
These the same women that come to our dick sucking classes now.
Facts.
Like this is the society
Still
we live
translated too,
in.
though.
We literally have we have classes on sex and intimacy, and these are the same women that are going to pole classes, that are going to angels classes, that are
come on
doing you know all of these private BDSM parties and going to like it's. I don't understand why black sex and black kink is so bad. Like at the end of the day, that's really it comes around. Let me get a clap.
Okay.
Those booty chicks clapping. Right, there's a women clapping. Yeah, like we should be able to be sexual. Yeah. And I think, you know, am I wrong? Was there, it doesn't feel like it was any violence associated.
Zero.
With what, the Freaknik?
Yeah, I feel like people would come.
In the end, it did. It did.
It
Well, no
didn't
guns.
come out.
Well, no
It
guns.
became egregious.
That's why it ended from like people
Violence.
started
Raping people.
Oh.
Early op talk, before op talk was a thing.
That's not
It
okay.
happened. Right.
We do not condone that.
No, not at all.
Right.
Not at all.
Put
I
that
do-
across the screen.
Shout out to all the women that never gave me love or gave me play and thought they were too good because you guys were thick ahead of schedule when we were young in the high school.
ahead of
I get to see y'all get clapped up in HD now. You know what I'm saying? Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry
But that
about
was
it.
their 17-year-old version, 18-year-old version.
I was 17, 18 then though.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I got another question, man. Just in
Who's
reference
17?
in reference
Damn,
to
they parents ain't shit.
in reference to Chicago, right?
Parents ain't
There's
nothing.
they're shutting down the Walmarts, right? And I don't understand the big deal about it. Can you help me? Like,
What? What do you mean you don't understand the big deal?
They're-
It's
they're-
a grocery
They're putting
store.
Save-A-Lots there. What difference does it
okay,
make?
so listen, Walmart is a grocery store. It is a clothing store.
It's
It's,
a club.
for toiletry. It is a
It's a
club. You
club.
can.
Especially on 83rd.
It's a singles club.
That bitch go get it on 83rd.
Right?
For real.
Like, it's a pharmacy.
Okay.
And so it's shutting down is a big deal. Like, where are people going to get their staples at? The Dollar Tree?
And not save a lot.
All right.
Well, Save-A-Lot is now owned. The ones here by Green Banana or
Big
Yellow
friction behind us
Banana.
already, yeah. We
It's
just-
a black company now,
We had the
and
farm show.
they're looking to increase the quality of the produce in the Save-A-Lots. But people still don't want that.
Well, you know, Save A Lot started off. I'm with you though. I hope they do because Save A Lot started off initially. It was quality, but over time, once you get, it's like these soul food buffet restaurants. The food be good as hell once they start off, but once they get famous and more people come, they start mass producing. So the quality goes down. Same thing that happened with Save A Lot. People will take these old folks to tell you, you know what I'm saying? They had to go find different things. Save A Lot. It's
I've
different.
only been to one soul food buffet, and that's on Stony Island.
It's
And I
about
think
that.
that was like Queen of the Sea. And the lady came with a bowl. And I was like, what's the bowl for? She was like, them for your bones. I was like, what? Soul food
Yeah.
buffet?
The ones they closing up, they seem to be in specific areas. I did say spa,
Are they all-
not club. I did say spa, you know what I'm saying? But I was at the one on 83rd the other day, and I wonder why everything was so fucking dirt cheap, you know what I'm saying? PS5 controllers that's usually $60 for like $20. And I didn't know until the story came out about Walmart closing that was why. And I'm like, they continuously close things and take away resources that we need in certain communities, but you're talking about invest in South and West. And this is the opposite of that.
Are they closing a whole bunch of them?
Across the country, yes. In Chicago, 83rd.
I think it was 6 of
47.
them. I think it was 6 of
Yeah,
them.
okay.
Well,
yeah.
they're closing 4 of them here. So it's gonna be a big deal. All right. So we talked a little bit about music, and Dave, we do ask this really fun question. If you were to say there's a lyric that you live by, or that's a mantra from hip hop, what would you say is something that means like something to you?
Oh man, it's tough.
Go in them archives, man. Come on.
Oh man, hold on.
Yeah, we went to
What the
shits.
Jeopardy music at? Give me the Jeopardy music.
give me some multiple choice. Man,
Throw artists out there, man. You go way back. You got
So one of-
Furious 5. You got Nas. You got Carrie.
I actually have one on my phone that pops up every 2 hours, and it's sky's the limit. I can have what I want, be what I want. Like I need that reminder every 2 hours, and then there's other ones kind of sporadically through the day, just to remind myself to keep my mind in a positive area. So you talked about crossing the generations with music, opportunities, in other industries and sectors. And for me, hip hop is it's a part of my life. It's actually helped me become a better person. So when you think about that lyric, is it like when you get into a jam, and you think about like a rap lyric to kind of help you in that moment?
I can't really think of one that comes to mind. I mean, I mean, obviously, I've been listening to hip hop for years. I mean, I know, it's more artists and kind of styles of music probably that stand out to me, but there's not really any lyric I can think of right now that I would say this is how I live my life. But I like your choice. That's a nice one.
Let's make it easy for you then. Okay, so you finna go ball. You finna go hoop after this. Everybody got like a pre-workout, pre-ball song or something like that. You ain't got one of them either though? You got to break it down in different categories sometimes.
Dave is trash, man. Let's just
Come on, let's use the trash out on the way to the court.
Look, Dave can't hoop, man. I'm gonna throw it out there.
My reputation is pretty well known, throughout the industry over
Y'all
the
sound
years.
the same right now.
Yeah.
This would be a great match. Wait, are you wearing this on the court?
No, I got some.
right.
I got some other gear.
It don't count when you're playing against yourself, not so. Okay, it doesn't count. Hey, no, I want to ask you this though. Coming from obviously the Source magazine, right, and now in the digital space, right? Everybody knows what you've done, but what is now, right? What does that look like in the digital space and transitioning from the Source to now Breakbeat? Is it different? Is it the same, or is it just quick information that you get and you got to be on top of that?
Right. Well, I mean, I think it's a little both. There's some similarities, but there's also a lot of differences. And I think the digital world is it's wide open right now when it comes to far as media and content and where things are going. I think there's a lot of opportunities still. One of the things with Breakbeat I didn't kind of expand on. So the podcast network is just the sort of ground floor to get the brand out there, to start to put on, I think of people like Don't Call Me White Girl or Funny Marco as kind of like my unsigned hypes of today. They're not rappers, but they're these emerging stars that we're highlighting and giving platforms to. But the whole other side of the company will be in the technology space, where, the goal will be to kind of build these audiences for our shows and then kind of bring people together through a digital platform and a community, create more of a community interactive, social environment, something that will and can evolve into its own social media platform, and then to kind of become a more full-scale streaming network so that we can start producing all of our own movies, TV shows, everything like that. I missed the joke. All right.
Yeah. But you know what?
I didn't see it.
I'm there, man. But you know what though? No, I thought about it though real quick. I play video games. That was motherfucking Akumo from Street Fighter. No bullshit. Oh, he had all that shit, bro. Do not fuck with him. Period.
Hey, no. So the real question with Breakbeat,
cut you off, man. My bad.
that's funny as shit. How did you link up with Kendrick Ashton?
Well, Kendrick is a DC native like myself, born and raised. He's a little younger than me, but we have a mutual friend, a guy that I went to high school with that's in the sports business that knew Kendrick. So I was home about 5 years ago, and my buddy invited me to come out to an event that Kendrick was giving. So we met there. We just started talking, and he was like super interested in me and what I was doing and what I'd done, and we just became good friends at first. I started to talk to him about my ideas and plans to launch this platform, and eventually we decided to become business partners. And he's been an amazing partner. I mean, he's contributed, not just on the business side, but also creatively. He's a former investment banker, very, very successful. And then he came back to DC and pivoted to become an entrepreneur. So he opened a facility called the St. James, which he raised $300 million to launch this. St. James is kind of like, if anybody's been to the East Bank Club, it's like that times 10.
Yeah, I get buckets up there too.
Wow, it's as easy as corporate office.
Buckets of chicken?
No,
playing against
buckets of East Bank. Yeah, easy work over there.
Yeah.
Tones.
So we just hooked up, and we've been rocking now for several years, and really, really happy about that. Shout out to my man D Powell. That's a man who connected me with Kendrick.
Shout out.
You mentioned fans earlier about bringing fans together, and when I realized and when I was informed, we got a chit chat on. It just comes to the show. I remember what the source meant to me. It was the standard. Me growing up in the '90s, it was the standard. When you wanted hip hop information and news, you went to the source. You could get to that your local newspaper stand. These underneath the L tracks. You can get it in Sam Goody next to the CDs. We actually bought CDs. That the magazines right there. George's Music Room.
My uncle's record store.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Pep Mo.
Pep Mo.
Shout out Pep Mo.
Chicago Avenue, baby.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? 5 cent bags of candy. Thanks, Uncle Pep. Appreciate you.
Love you.
And we ain't had that 5 cent either though, but we gave it to us. It was cool. We did not have that 5 cent going up. You know what I'm saying? But true story. But my mind went here like, okay, so the source had a cult-like fan base. You know what I'm saying? So shifting, how do you go about, I'm part of this shit too though, absolutely. How do you go about making that digital and cyber footprint the same standard that the actual physical source footprint was? Because you just can't walk down the street and see the Source magazine.
Right.
And then when you open your phone up, whatever you've been talking about, because these phones are smartphones because we make them. We've been talking about
of pages.
You click the internet browser, everything you've thought about, talked about, somebody said around you, it pops up. It's easy to go into a different rabbit hole than what you're looking for outside of the hip hop and the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So how do you bring these people back in this digital and cyberspace?
Well, I mean, yeah, that is a challenge, but it starts with what I'm doing, like the right content, bringing together different shows that are each kind of dope in their own way, but also complement each other. I think in just, it's only been a year and a half since I launched Breakbeat, and I only got 5 shows, but like already,
6 coming up.
Yeah, you already, it's like, to me, like what you can't really compare Breakbeat to nothing else. There's nobody else doing it the same way. Right. And it's starting, and people, that cult-like following is starting to happen. Don't Call Me White Girl got her own cult following. Marco got his own. Bill, and those people are starting to, come together.
It's packaged in a really good way.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So, the challenge will be, getting people onto one platform, instead of just, like you said, going all over the place, which is what we've, come to do. But again, there is no definitive hip hop platform these days.
Right.
I don't know, there's nothing out there that really is doing it the way the source was doing. And I don't believe that's just because of technology and the way things have evolved. I think that's, because of other reasons and because people just didn't have the vision, or Yeah. You know, and that, you know, again, people have had agendas to try to divide us rather than keeping us together.
I think that's clear when you look at all of the social media platforms. So I'm 42 years old. I'm a woman.
So.
Thank Captain.
Yeah. We didn't know
my
that.
mama. My mama.
And you black.
Yeah, and I haven't identified as a black, right? And I can remember early on in my life, like watching Jukebox and like closing my eyes and wanting to produce music videos, but there wasn't a place for me. I joined Columbia for film production, and I was with Real Flavor working with BJ as like Chicago's first lady VJ, right? And still at that time, it was like I was invisible. If you were not a dude in hip hop, you did not matter. And so I find myself now looking at Breakbeat like I see myself, like I see Mona. And I think it's really important for women and girls to see themselves not just as the talent in terms of like the artist and the singer, the performer, but in front of the microphone or as producers or being able to tell our version. Even when they invited me to participate on this show, and I was like, well, why me? And then I realized like, oh, why the fuck not me?
There you go.
One of the best options for somebody who respects the culture, who is influenced by it. And so when you think about the talent that you're bringing together, who is it that you're trying? What are you looking for in terms of like the diversity of stories? Is it by geography? Is it by industry? What is your vision?
Well, it's to be comprehensive. So in the future, you'll see, you know, Breakbeat having, you know, news programs, having, you know, health or financial literacy or, you know, all kind, you know, history, you know, social justice, you know, but it started with just finding the talent that I thought could really kind of elevate us quickly. And
well, you did that, bro.
Thank you.
Did that. Mission accomplished on that one.
Yeah. And so, and also it was really important to me that I capture the younger generation out of the gate, you know, because it would have been one thing, you know, to just target the older ones. But if you can get the youth, you know, I feel much more confident that I'll be able to bring the youth and the older side more together once I have the youth. And that's what I think, you know, with several of our shows, you know, we've definitely captured that Gen Z millennial market already. So.
And it's like breadcrumbs, right? Because you can go to their respective shows and then you end up at Breakbeat. And I was telling everybody as I was flying in at the ass crack of dawn, what you see is I'm like, oh, we're having conversations about politics and voting. Right, like we're getting people's attention to be aware of the choices that they need to make in order to see the changes in society that they wish to see, while helping them understand like it's possible. So I'm like, oh, this is a little different. This isn't about creating content and entertaining.
Right.
This is so much more, and I think that's something that's brilliant about
that goes
Breakbeat.
back kind of to the DNA of the source. I mean, you know, the source was about giving people information. You know, it was, you know, the fun parts of the culture, the music, the fashion, the sneakers, et cetera. But, you know, we also, you know, covered real issues, you know, again, health, politics, you know, et cetera. So, you know, that's like what I love about somebody like Don't Call Me White Girl is, you know, you get the realness. She's funny, but she's also very smart, you know, and that's that kind of balance of like, you know, being authentic and kind of reaching, you know, the core audience, but also talking to them about real issues that matter. So that's kind of the balance that, you know, I'm hoping to strike as we keep going forward.
Dave, you know what I find very fucking interesting? How in the fuck?
Am I interested?
No. Can you be quiet?
No.
Okay. No. What I find very fucking interesting is you're a media, in my opinion, mogul, right?
Thank you.
How in the fuck do you stay out of the way? You know what I'm saying? Like, how is that possible? You are a media guy, but no one knows anything about you. And I think when I think about this, it's got to be very intentional. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you do that?
You mean like he's not the spotlight in the spotlight?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, I think it just goes back to, you know, how I operated as I was growing the source. You know, I was never the type of person that wanted to just get all the attention and the credit. I was the guy that was, the first one in the office, the last one to leave, work on the weekends. I had this vision, of building, this company, and I didn't care about the credit. I the people that knew that I'm the guy behind it. So, as time went on, and the source has become irrelevant, and I left the source and everything else. And now we're in this social media age where it's all about promoting yourself and your brand. So I'm now, doing that a little more, with Breakbeat. I intended to be more visible, have my name on things, have my voice involved in things. And then I'm working on telling my story in, several different formats: book, documentary, movie, scripted series. There's some big things in the works right now. So I think there'll come a time in the near future where people will learn about me and my story. I think people will hopefully find it interesting, and so then I won't be able to live quite as under the radar as I can right now.
Right.
Dave, have you been to the Hip Hop Heritage Museum? I'm sorry, B.
That's all good.
The one here on Southside? Yeah, I have been.
Yeah, do you have any pieces in there? Because we shot a show there. I don't remember seeing them.
I'm sure they have some. I know they have some source stuff in there.
We got to work on that. I would love to see that space also is a place for kids and our community here in Chicago to acknowledge what we've contributed to hip hop.
Sure.
And so when I think about your story and now that you're here, special exhibits that people can't see anywhere else, because the city, especially Black Chicago, is looking to anchor our economic development in cultural storytelling, for example. And music has a huge part to play in
now,
that.
when you say that Black Chicago is looking to do that, in how and who are you talking about?
Okay, so an example is Dave Peterson over at the A. Philip Randolph Pullman Porter Museum. I don't know if you're familiar with them. So it's the first and only Black labor museum in the nation, built off the story of the Pullman Porters. And so when you look around Chicago and we're hella segregated, every cultural community gets to sell their history and their music, their food, their ancestry to draw in tourism dollars. Everybody but Black folks, right? And so using our cultural anchors and storytelling through history, whether that is the Pullman Porters or hip hop, it brings in people which bring in dollars to support a community. And so the Hip Hop Heritage Museum is looking to kind of use their location, grow it, move it out of the way, put it into a community. So whether that's Inglewood or Bronzeville, and then another another story emerge to move around. So Pullman Porter Museum is expanding.
The Pullman Porters, that's the train shit, right? They would
the
train shit, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the train shit.
So these were they were the porters.
Hey man, don't shake your hey man. I'll make an appointment. I'll make an appointment before you start playing with me out here.
Yeah, and most of those porters actually lived in Bronzeville, and they were intelligent men, but they also were the first to be recognized as a union. So Chicago is a union town. That story is really impactful for Black people in this city because unions are favorable for African Americans. So storytelling is something that that's important and can be a part of economic development, as well as creating infrastructure. So,
yeah, but that's something I'm interested. Like, I have a concept that I've been kind of mulling over in my head, and I got to really sit down and like organize it to begin to try to execute it. But I want to create Breakbeat Chicago, like a division that's based here and becomes a model that can be, brought to other cities. But the underlying idea is to try to create a structure that can, empower the creators, and people that are doing, incredible things, and give them a better way to monetize, their talents, and skills and products. So kind of like creating, you know, an economic infrastructure and something that has a, you know, social, political, community component to it. So that, you know, we can do things that need to be done to help improve, you know, the city, improve the lives, you know, of a lot of young people, you know, in the city and create more opportunities. So I definitely would want to talk to you more about that as I get further along.
Yeah, because that sounds like Full Fest.
So yeah, it does, absolutely. It's a beautiful festival. She helped co-found it, and it was magnificent last summer. It gave everybody in the city an outlet other than the house picnic, which we love. Even though our old ass can't really dance like we used to no more.
10 hours of house music.
My God, that's a headache. That's a fucking headache, you know. And somebody told me, I was at work one day doing overtime, and somebody turned up Little Uzi's song, I Just Want to Rock, with the bass and all. They said, man, this is dope hip music. It's just too much for me. So I'm like, bro, like, you ain't saying this is drug head music. I'm looking like, bro, you never heard house before? It just boom, boom, boom. Stop it, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's not be the old haters, the divisive that you were talking about earlier. Let's not be those guys, you know what I'm saying? But like you mentioned earlier, you are founded Breakbeats. You're bringing talented people together to also bring fans together. Well, one of the most influential podcasts out right now is the Joe Budden podcast, the JBP, you know, and whenever there's some mess going on, you know, people look at
Let's get into these pod wars.
You know what I'm saying?
The pod wars.
They're doing the exact opposite of what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Joe and his former co-host, Rory Mal, have been firing shots back and forth. How does that not benefit what the fuck everybody else that's shooting the pod? I like to call this a show, to be honest with you. We're more than the podcast, but we getting there. You know, how does that benefit or take away from podcasting world as a whole? Because it's making people choose sides. It's definitely divisive. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely divisive because you're gonna rock with Joe or you can rock with the underdog Rory Mal. You know, and we did a show with Rory Mal, and it was great. It was fucking fire. You know, you were there.
Yeah, you was there.
It was cool. Yeah, I thought I was talking. Yeah, you was there. You know what I'm saying?
You guys.
Yeah, man. You know, but of course, Joe's the more popular character. People gonna really rock with him like that. To me, it seemed like Lil Bro just slapping Big Bro slapping Lil Bro around, like, you know, repeatedly because the motherfucker's funny. They're not going to out-rap him, and he's got the bigger following, you know. How is that detrimental to the game, period? What you're doing at Breakbeats and what we're doing here at the Corner Convo Podcast and what the world's trying to do in this digital space?
I mean, I haven't thought of it like that. To me, you know, because I'll check out Joe Budden and I love what Rory and Mal are doing too. I think they're super talented,
right?
And you know, they've been able to prove they could stand on their own and be successful. And obviously, Joe is successful. So yeah, I don't really feel like, me personally, like I got to pick a side or anything like that. That's just, you know, that's just part of the nature again of this world that we're in and how things, you know, social media and everything else has created these, you know, public beefs as just a means of, you know, getting attention, getting clout, you know, trying to stay relevant, etc.
I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm fucking with Rory Mal. Like at the end of the day,
are you picking sides?
You goddamn right. They're my guys.
Well,
right?
I mean, they put you on. You better pick them.
You know what I'm saying? And what was dope, he called
wait,
them.
why are they picking them? Like, I don't understand what the beef is.
Well, it's a long story.
Okay,
but
all right.
He called them the bare minimum boys. This shit was funny as shit.
That's right? He fucking entertained
but
man.
what was dope though, they said, fuck it. I'm gonna make a shirt. Got a bag on the shirt. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking genius. You know what I'm saying?
Was like, who the fuck is Robert Glass? He printed 100,000 shirts. Who the fuck is Robert Glass?
Yeah, so you know what I mean? Thank you, Joe, for throwing the oop. He's like, he threw the oop. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, shout out to Rory Mal.
Somebody need to diss us then. Somebody diss us. Somebody diss us.
Please diss us now.
Diss us now. I had a different question in mind, man, really quickly, because, you know, I just be curious and I be nosy. I really don't care a lot of times, but, you know, so the drill scene, fine. The drill boys, trap artists, they get trap girls, they get drill girls, you know. The athletes, they get the IG models. What does somebody like David MAYS, you know, in a different world? What does somebody like him get, you know? Because that part of the lifestyle has to be motherfucking extra. You got to be top of the top, bro. I'm nosy.
Well, you don't know who my lady is?
First of all, she's fly as shit.
You weren't married since birth, though.
What's that?
You had a whole different life before that, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
That's
what
I'm talking about.
Oh, you talking about the
past?
past?
Y'all laughing at the wrong shit, huh? Fuck y'all.
I mean, in the past, really, the difference was for me, like, I wasn't able to separate my kind of entrepreneurial drive and mission that I was on from kind of like and create space and time for a personal life and to build a family. And
Said you were not.
I wasn't able to do that because I was just I was just so focused on building. So, I had plenty of relationships and women, et cetera, but nothing meaningful until I met my lady now,
Talk your shit.
Brett
Run that
Jeffries. Got to shout her out. Her brother is here supporting Ride's in the building. But yeah, she's really been instrumental in just kind of turning my life around, and came out here to Chicago, and just helped me focus on myself. Things like becoming vegan the last 3-4 years, and, taking my health and working out more and things like that. And just being able to focus on creating this new platform.
And she's the CCO, right?
She's a chief creative officer.
Yep.
She's an incredible talent. She's a Duke University graduate. Started as
Shout out to Duke. Shout out to Duke in the building.
She was in media for a long time, even before college. Different internships throughout the city. But she started as an intern with Oprah Winfrey Network. Or Oprah Winfrey Show when she got out of college, and she worked her way up. She was a producer and development executive. She helped create a lot of the shows that are still on today, like Ayanna Van Zandt and several other shows that are still on OWN.
All right, that's enough, man. All right, man. We get it.
You in love like a motherfucker. We get it, bro. We get it, bro.
You know what I'm saying? No, but real talk though. In the world now where, it's really quick, it's a really simple question, where everything is done for attention, you know what I'm saying? And that's really how you get the notoriety and get seen, from SoundCloud to the YouTube to not even really need majors to put you on for some of these artists just to get noticed because they're so talented and there's an easy way to put your material out there. I think they don't have the opportunity to do what you did as far as not make opportunity for social life, because they have to be social to get their content, to get their creativity out there, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Is there any advice you can give these young content creators, even us, young content creators, of how to stay focused and maybe cut a certain amount of time out just to have a social life while being focused on your goal and creating your craft?
I think, that's the ideal way to be. Obviously, family and your personal life and your health and stuff have to take a priority. We all want to be successful, and we all have dreams and ideas, and many of us, pursue them. But yeah, if you can find a way to create a balance, I think that's the better way to do it. I had to learn, maybe the hard way, where I lost everything, that I worked for almost 20 years with the Source, and started over from nothing. But it's all good. I'm in my next phase, and it's gonna be, bigger and better than anything I've done before.
I hate that y'all didn't let me get in on saying.
Yeah, clap it up. That was solid.
Thank you.
That was solid.
Yeah.
Y'all felt that one, huh?
And I also just want to honor the reality of having the right people in your life, especially the person that you go home to. And so for everybody who's looking to do something great, who you align yourself with absolutely matters. It seems like kind of serendipitous that her past.
I'm gonna give you 10.
I get 10 on serendipitous.
Yes,
I think that's the first big word of the day, right? Yeah.
Y'all are fucking easy.
What?
Cheap ass dates.
That's a cheap ass crocodile on your shirt.
Spelling Bee, please.
So that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
but shout out to Brett. And plus, you all are like my fashion goals for a couple. Y'all look great together. She looks great.
Thank you.
So we do something called the Ghetto Spelling Bee.
Okay.
All right. So you want to play along?
He has no choice.
You have no choice.
I don't know what the game is, but I can spell.
All right. Well, this is the Ghetto Spelling Bee, Dave.
Okay.
All right. So shout out to Corey from Inglewood Branded. Also, we got some gifts here for you. And his store was in a church front, right? We didn't get a chance. Praise him. We didn't get a chance to play the Ghetto Spelling Bee last week, so we're going to honor that. And you have to spell your word like a preacher. Y'all ready?
Yeah. this is
All
gonna
right.
be interesting.
All right, Amon.
Oh, you started
Spell.
with me. Okay, fuck.
Well, what's your pastor name? What's your preacher name?
Oh shit, Pastor. I don't know. I don't know one. I don't know. Cool. Get. I can take the joke. I hate the laughter. Fuck out of here.
All right.
Let's go.
So, pastor.
Pastor No Jumper.
All right, cool.
All right. So, spell benediction.
You motherfucker. Well, I want to welcome everybody to church this evening. Can my background sing?
Hallelujah.
So be
Salvation and glory, honor and power to the
That's a real song,
Lord
though.
our God. For the Lord our God is almighty.
Keeping up right.
The
T-I-O-N. Benediction.
Our God.
We here.
He is wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. Where they throw that ooh? Where they throw that ooh? You know what I'm saying?
All right. Pastor Abasi, what's your preacher name?
Pastor Salt, Pepper, and Mild Sauce. What it is, goddamn it. Pastor 773, goddamn it. Look here.
Oh my God.
Pastor
All right.
been in your mama's bedroom before. Look here. That's what you pass. Go ahead.
All right.
I love it.
Spell sanctified.
Ooh.
Sanctified. Something y'all not, for starters. But we all going to the same goddamn place. You know what I'm saying? Dear Father, we come before you as humble as we know how. Amen. We are in the midst of a bunch of heathens. You know, with condescending tones, goddamn. Let's go. We curse this church. Pass the grain and gold. Grain is for the money, gold is for the honey. Let's go. S-A-N-C. Our West C stand for conservative. Put a VL behind it, goddammit. S-A-N-C. Okay. T, goddammit. T for time out. T for turn up. T for house the offering plate, goddammit. S-A-N-C-T-I-F. F is for the bread and the fish and bread that fed the multitude in the desert. Was it 5, 5, 12 loaves of bread? Come on, y'all. Can I get amen?
Amen.
Can I get amen?
Amen.
Let's go. You know,
Happy Passover.
Pastor Mild Sauce, Pastor Salt and Pepper. Look here. We are selling plates after the service, just in case you want to know. You know what I'm saying? $12 plate. Sister Martha over there behind the Abasi. Sister Martha. How much the plate's going for? Oh, shit. Oh, look, we gonna raise the price. You know what I'm saying? Inflation, 15. Post-pandemic, goddammit. S-A-N-C-T-I-F-I-E-D, sanctified.
Okay. All right. So
sanctified. Shout out to Brad. Congratulations on your newborn baby.
right.
All right, Dave, you ready?
I'm ready to spell. I don't know if I can follow in these guys. You know,
It's on the church now, y'all. Come on, it's on the church to hold them up. Come on now.
Jesus. All right. So spell hallelujah.
Ooh.
Oh, should I give you a hard one? Huh? Okay.
Whoa.
The spirit is-
Wait a minute.
He's right.
Wait a
Don't worry,
minute.
my brother. The spirit is in the building.
First of all, you're not
Wait a
gonna
minute.
speed past that like you didn't
Man.
just say what you just said.
Trying to give you a hard one nowadays. No, we're not. Okay, go ahead.
They just hold it up.
Ladies and gentlemen of the congregation,
Come on.
this is your pastor and your rabbi. And I'm here to talk about hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yes, thank God. Praise God. Hallelujah. 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 I think there's an H on
We need
here.
that pastor right now. Come on. Bless the pastor, Father. Bless his ministries.
Oh my
Come on.
Hallelujah. Final answer.
God.
Let's take Jesus. Or Joshua, something.
Oh, let's check that. Can somebody fact check that, please?
A-L-L-E-J.
E.
L-U-J-H.
Yo.
Yeah. Okay. For the record,
Thank you.
HALLELUJAH.
L-U-J-H.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, you
Well,
spell
only
it.
gotta
You
spell
got
it.
me.
Nobody cares if you spelled it right. All right. So, all right. But I will have to say, Amon, you did good this week.
You goddamn right.
Congratulations. You really
Yeah, clap it up, clap it
You
up.
win. Yeah. All right,
Give me my shit. Give me my shit.
All the brain in it.
You know what I mean? Take this swag back, man. It's something in there for you, man.
This is for you.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Nice.
We got some treats in there.
All right.
Some stuff from Full Fest, from Chicago
Right.
News Weekly, from Corner Convo.
Beautiful.
Welcome
Thank
to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want you to use all that shit. Wear it, take a picture, do all that shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Do you ever get any no bullshit, any whack ass John B jokes, man? People are
Yeah,
brainless.
I just got one.
You did? Oh, no, not this one. That's a joke. It's like, come on, man. That's low hanging fruit, goddamn. You know?
Yeah, people tried that a few times. Yeah. I hear
Oh
it.
my God.
What's the clapback, if any?
So funny, so funny.
None.
All right.
Nah.
Keep on pushing her.
I do
I
want
just let
to.
it ride.
We do ask
I'm
people
just
like
me.
what their definition of the culture is, and so if you were to define hip hop culture, what would you say?
Hip hop culture is how to put it succinctly. Hip hop culture is it's a way of it's a style, it's a way of thinking and looking at the world. It's a way of it's something. It's based in authenticity, being real to yourself and as well as to the world. It's hard to, I guess it is hard to put it into words exactly, how you describe it because it encompasses so much. But, culture, you just got to go to the word culture first and, look at culture and everything that represents, that finds its way into everything we do in a certain lifestyle, in a certain community. And hip hop culture is the culture of the hip hop community, those of us that have grown up, like I said earlier, being influenced by the music. The music obviously is still a central part of the culture and most visible part of the culture, but it goes a lot deeper than just music. You take it all the way back to the beginnings. Hip hop involved dance, it involved art, it involved other aspects of creativity, DJing, and just an outlet of expression. An outlet for expression that comes from just living in the conditions that this country has created and put a lot of people under, and it's a reaction to those conditions. So that's a long answer, but hopefully I got some of it right.
I'm gonna ask questions today. Do you think, hip hop shapes the psychology through the sociology of what things do, right? Like the whole concept that we're just telling stories, reporting stories of what we see, right? So that's travel. But do you think that the stories that we do see in our neighborhoods now, does it still serve us to tell these stories just because we see it? Like, okay, let me go tell the story of seeing everybody get shot up on the block. Let me go out there and then tell them who shot people up on the block. Like, is this social psychology that comes out of hip hop? Is it still serving us the same way? Before, it was the only place where we could actually find out what was going on. I didn't know what was going on in Compton. I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what was going on in Brooklyn at that time. It was the only place, source, if you will, for us to even hear those stories. Does that still serve us today when we can see that shit everywhere already?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, the music is something that has changed dramatically over the years, and that's had in a lot of ways, it has had a detrimental effect. And what I'm talking about is kind of the control of the music. So if you go back to the 80s and, the 90s, really throughout most of the 90s, a song had to get stamped by the streets before it could cross over and become mainstream. If we weren't fucking with it, you had a couple, you had your Vanilla Ices or your Hammers or your Young MCs or whatever that might have come out and gone pop, but very few, far between. So, but over time, the music industry, was trying to figure out how to control hip hop, how they could, control it. So, there was a bunch of things that happened through the late 90s on up, through today where just, hip hop has become more dictated by corporate America deciding kind of the types of music and songs that are being promoted and popularized. I go as far as saying in some ways hip hop music today has become a form of social engineering. But the beauty of it is that hip hop still comes from a place of purity. It's still something that's really spiritual, that comes from the way you feel inside. Even with those outside forces trying to manipulate it and control it, there's still that, just underlying honesty and authenticity and spirituality that ultimately, I believe, we see it. There are a lot of other, successful types of hip hop and artists, that are doing things that's great music. Not everyone is just talking about, guns and gangs and killing,
shout out to Phil
killing
Green.
each
You know
other.
what I mean? Cost of living, man. Go get that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
1 million streams. You know what I mean?
I love that
So-
you use the word spirituality with it. So I am a yogi, and I actually teach trap yoga. And I can remember when I started teaching that class, and people were like, why would you pair hip hop with yoga? Like, that doesn't go together. But I think all things in life are both devilish and divine. And we all have a choice to turn our attention and identify like what we want to rock with. Why do you think the messages of violence and harm overpower those that are more neutral and or uplifting in hip hop? Because now the radio, I don't even turn the radio on. I choose everything, right? To nourish my mind, to feed me whatever I want. So if I get to pick, why aren't we choosing to listen to other things? Why are we not giving other artists an opportunity? Why are we not seeking out a balance of soundscape, in your opinion?
Well, it goes to what I was saying, like, the kind of corporate control that's there and what's become marketable and commercially viable. And if that kind of music or expression isn't commercially viable, then a lot of the masses are not going to rock with it. But, I still believe that, there's an artist out here, somewhere, a young person today that's, going to be able to, find a voice and a way of expressing that's going to be able to, relate to everybody and bring a new, just open people's minds up and help kind of break out of some of the, narrow tracking that's dominating a lot of hip hop.
Right.
But yeah, I think it really goes to, just the commercialization of the music and what's been pushed and, and hand in hand with just the social forces, that continue to, and political forces that continue to maintain the conditions that hip hop was exposing and mobilizing people to change. And it's golden era, the 80s and the 90s. But, obviously we look today.
Are you saying we need poverty to make this music? Like, in order to sustain all of this, like, you cannot move the needle on any of these conditions in order to keep these people consuming and buying.
I'm saying that the powers that be that have taken control of the music are using the music to help further the conditions of poverty.
Right.
But I believe hip hop, was put on this earth by God to change the world, to undermine and uproot systemic racism, and to even the playing field and bring us together. So ultimately, hip hop should be about destroying poverty, and and then
Talk your shit.
I like
continue
that.
to flourish, beyond that.
Really, really, really quickly though, depending on how you answer the question, I love art. We're all artists in our own way. Now, whether we're singing or not is a different story.
What kind of artist are you?
Cool.
He is a designer.
So when I can be a con artist, a scam artist, you know what I'm saying?
It's all art, baby.
The artist formerly known as, you know, all that shit. I can be all that, brother. You know what I'm saying? We are all artists in our own way. We are all artists in our own way, man. And we design and create our own paths in life. You see what I'm saying? Chill out. You know what I'm saying? But
That was dope. That was good.
it's cool. It's cool. I know. I was born this way. But I think back to how influential the covers of those magazines were, man. That shit was powerful. And it was almost, I don't want to say dictating, you know, people's thoughts, because that's not true. But it made you feel a way when you saw certain artists on the cover of the Source. Like when you saw Big with Puff in the background. You saw my favorite, the Death Row cover. People tried to motherfucker recreate that shit so many times, but you know, it's like, wow, you know, the brains that you have working behind that. I'm just curious to if you do have a top five favorite or most influential cover art for these magazines, man, because also when you had Mobb Deep on that bad boy, it's like, and I'm not even a Mobb Deep fan like
that's
that. But
my
that cover art
guys.
was
They're
the
my
shit. I'm
guys.
looking like, damn, I gotta go listen to Mobb Deep now, you know what I'm saying? You just had to, man, you know, and so I'm just curious if there's a top five artwork on these Source magazines.
Covers of the Source. Let me think. My favorite covers would be
Talk to the mic, Dave.
the first Dr. Dre.
Tell me the bass out of his voice, for real.
The first Dr. Dre cover with the gun to his head that came out right before the Chronic was released. That's a classic, one of my favorites, and a very pivotal cover in the evolution of the Source. The Mary J. Blige cover when she was sitting on an ice sculpture that my man Chi Mogul shot. Rest in peace to Chi. And you know, Chi shot a lot of incredible photography and covers for the Source. Let me see what else stands out.
What's that, two?
That's two.
That's two.
Boom, 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 boom.
Very fair, you know.
Yeah, I mean the Biggie in front of the Twin Towers, King of New York. I would say that's up there. I mean,
There's so many of them, though. Yeah,
I you know, I don't want to repeat stuff, but like either Snoop and Dr. Dre when Snoop first came out and Dre was in the background, you know, kind of under the, you know, sort of in the background, and Snoop on the front, like right before Snoop's album dropped. That was a dope ass cover. I feel like there was one of our Outkast covers that I really liked.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
What you got, B?
Redman
with his whole head.
Yeah.
That was dope.
Yeah.
The young DMX joint. DMX was over two. I think it was DMX, Ja Rule, and somebody else in the background. Maybe Silk the Shock, which made me laugh.
The next generation, the new generation.
That was cool to me because that was early stages of these people.
That's the origins of, you know, the XXL freshman cover. They just basically copied what we did with that
thievery,
you know. And well, they ran with it, and, you know, it became a big thing. But that rap new generation, because plus it was a fold out, you know, special fold out cover. So yeah, that was.
Those is always dope though.
Those used to be on my wall.
Yeah, the bustle was crazy, and that's crazy. Like so in the studio where we normally record at, like I have a whole spread, like no bullshit, of nothing but Source and XXL magazines. Right? Don't fuck with the vibe because they, you know, what I mean, they try to shit on you like motherfuckers don't really know that story, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy, and I literally have a tub almost of every fucking Source magazine.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
Me too. Yeah,
I'm every bro, like dead ass. No, it's not. Wait, no, it's not. Like I have the big ass 2 stacks of them shit.
Heavy. You understand? I understand. For real. I got boxes on boxes of that shit. For real.
And
I almost bought them today. Be honest with you though.
When I come to the crib, I'm gonna have them sign some. Hey man, look, I don't read.
That's what I was about to say. Like,
let me be clear. Now, Dave, on some real shit, I feel like I might have beef with you.
Oh my God.
Right?
Let's go.
Okay.
Now, if I'm thinking back to all the Source covers, how many Chicago artists made the actual cover?
I mean, Kanye, of course, was on the cover. Common was on the cover.
Okay.
I think it was with Mos Def and
Talib.
Talib and no,
no, you can't count that.
Yeah, it wasn't by himself.
Solo?
Can't count them.
Yeah, solo. No, solo. Don't do that. We out here, right? Respect Chicago.
You trying to start shit?
Yeah, we on that.
Who else? I don't know.
All right, so then here's the real shit. I need you to give me your top 5 Chicago artists. Rappers, singers, it don't matter.
From today going all the way back?
All the way back. Just give me your top 5.
This is your list.
Kanye, Common, Dirk.
Okay.
Brad.
You said,
Brad. Oh, by the way, Brad was on the cover. That's another Chicago.
Facts.
That was
Yeah. Shout
that
out
was
to
a good
JD.
cover. Yeah.
Right.
She sounded so. You know what I'm
You
saying?
got
Duh.
the Lupe's. You got the
Yeah.
Conflicts. You got the
Crucials. But yeah, I would go with
guys.
probably Chief Keef
right.
and who am I forgetting?
We got the peanut gallery over there that's listed it off. Psycho motherfucking drama.
I'm forgetting somebody.
It's all right.
No, I love Twister. I love Crucial. I'm just not sure.
I had a whole fight with him this morning about Crucial being on the cover of The Source, and I was completely fucking wrong.
Oh,
No.
Absolutely wrong. To me, because that album was just so impactful, for Chicago, I could have swore The Source would put them on, but I'm old, and I was wrong. That's
Brings
what.
up another question too. Like, we had this conversation inside Chicago a lot. More. We talk about this. It's like Chicago artists have kind of historically had
Chance. That'd be my last one, but I give Chance. Got to give Chance.
Multitasking.
Good call.
Especially everything he did, remaining independent.
Yes.
That's incredible, and I wish more artists had followed the same path he did.
We had this conversation inside Chicago as artists all the time, right? Like you have to leave Chicago to get recognition, right? To get access to a career in the industry, right? And now that you've lived here, like, do you see any reason why? Because you live in other places, you've been around. New York was the bedrock of how that shit just bubbled up. Anybody who was dope got with somebody else dope, and that community created itself. Atlanta did the same shit. When Snap music came out, they supported each other. They built their own industry. West Coast did that.
I don't know what Snap music
Never
meant.
done that.
Okay,
Now,
stop.
you live here. What do you think is the driving force behind why Chicago's never established its own industry in the city?
Well, I mean, there's a few parts to my answer. I mean, I think we can agree Chicago is, one of the most racist and segregated cities in the country.
Facts.
And, I think that's had an impact on it. But I also think you got to go back to the influence of house music. I say this a lot coming from DC. I grew up on go-go.
Go-go.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
I love go-go though. I do.
Yeah. And, you look at DC, even still to this day, DC's like, years and years, decades behind in its progress of, influence in hip hop because of go-go. Go-go was so dominant for so long that, there just wasn't a culture
I see where you're
for
going.
hip hop. And I think house had that similar effect here in the early days of kind of, let's say, letting other cities get more further down the road with their evolution of hip hop in those cities.
That's a great analysis. I never thought about it like that. Again, like the little brother, big brother thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that means we need to have Alan King on the show.
I'm good. I'm good, brother.
That's wild. And shout out to the sad chicks over there that have been
The Vixens.
got our sad chicks. We love it. Yeah.
I like Vixens is a better term.
Well, don't.
That's so funny, man.
They our side chicks. Yeah, they're our side chicks.
All right, man. Well, look, man, we're going to wrap it up. Dave, you got anything?
I
Actually,
don't wrap shit up, bro. Stop playing.
Yeah. You raw dog
Raw
king.
law.
Yeah, you're nasty.
Oh my!
Thanks, sir.
Pause.
Yeah.
Is that what I said?
No,
no pause.
No pause there.
Yeah.
Nice try. All good.
Dave, let me
It's
ask
all
you
good.
this before we close. I think it's important that you talk about legacy, and entrepreneurship, and what that looks like. Believing in yourself and knowing that you have a vision, seeing it through, and actually executing. And I feel like that's the blueprint to anybody who wants to be successful. What does that look? What has that look like for you, and what's next in that journey?
You said entrepreneurship and what was the first thing?
Legacy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the things I would say, some of the things you said. I mean, being an entrepreneur, it's not for everybody. It can be a lonely road, but you got to believe in yourself. You're not going to find very many people that are going to believe in you and support your vision. It just happens that way, and it's going to be a struggle most of the time. You're not going to be able to, go out and get some big investor to give you a bunch of money for your idea. You're going to have to, figure out how to get there, how to build it kind of block by block, a lot of times, or brick by brick a lot of times. So you got to be able to, make sacrifices. You got to be, be able to put the time and the work in. But if it's something that you believe in and you see a vision of how it will work, then you got to stick to it and pursue it.
So I want to say, when I was reading your bio, like, you sold lemonade, you you had lawn care service, so you sold other things.
Yes.
For me, I'm like, sell something but dreams. I feel like entrepreneurs, especially from the crib, sell wolf cookies. You do have to put in the work to learn how to be a boss, to learn how to get the capital, to learn how to build relationships, to learn how to, I say real bosses know when to cut their losses. So I think my final question is there a moment in your career that you had to make a decision to let something go and step away from it before shit got even worse?
Right.
Whoa. Well, I didn't let the source go. It was pretty much taken from me. I was still fighting for it, but I mean, I would say, kind of the change I went through 6-7 years ago when I met Brett and made the decision to kind of cut ties with my former friend and business partner and move out here to Chicago on my own and, just put the past behind me and start totally fresh and new. I mean, that's the moment that comes to mind.
Thank you.
Welcome to Chicago.
Yeah, welcome, man. Welcome to the crib, man. You can pull up on the corner anytime, man. You know what I'm saying? We here for the shits. Thank you for your time. I want everybody in the building to go ahead and give a motherfucking hand clap right now. Hey man, this is the Corner Convo.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
All right, Dave, bring my paperwork, man. Let's get started, man. We out, man.
We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden.